What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the HTM Buddy build of the USS Reliant. I'm Jordan with Line of the Stars.
And I'm Ken with Ken's Hobby Bench.
And we are marching headlong. We are getting closer and closer and closer towards the end. I'm starting to do a little catch up as well, which is great. I was getting a little worried that you were getting far ahead of me, but it seems like I'm doing a pretty good job of getting caught up. That said, like, you got more wiring inside than I have on the desk. But
You are
yes.
doing an amazing job at catching up, Jordan. I've noticed that on Discord over the past few days.
Yeah, like, it's one of those things where, just all of the models that I'm building, like, it gets a little bit much, but I don't know. I was inspired, and getting a lot of this done, like a lot of electronics work. There's a lot of work. Like, I think I want to count the amount of LEDs that they're going to wind up putting in this thing by the end, and I think we're going to be really shocked, actually, at how many lighting components that we put through. And my biggest concern right now, I have to be honest, is like, if I'm going to put the Arduino in the base, how am I going to get all of that through such a small hole? I'm starting to really think about that. But anyway, that's a topic for another episode, and I started to stress myself out there. On that note, so we're another week in. Yes. What's that? What do you got there?
The wire wrapping wire is probably what I'll use when it comes to running it down the pole, as opposed to something like this wire. Much thinner.
Yeah, so I use the 30 gauge. Is that wire wrapping wire 30 gauge, or is it higher?
I think it's 30 gauge wire, but it doesn't have much of a coating on it in comparison to what's on something like this stuff.
So you're thinking about that's like that. Is that like a magnet wire?
No, it's not. This actually does have a coating which you can strip off with, say, like your fingernail. Just kind of like,
is it plastic?
Sort of. Yeah, it's a plastic coating.
Okay.
So if my fingernails were working today, I'd be able to show you. But
okay.
Anyway, yeah.
Interesting.
So wire wrapping wire. It's I believe it's a 30 gauge.
Okay.
And it's just, like I said, just a really thin coating in comparison to something like this stuff here.
Yeah. I use a 30 gauge, so these are the wires that I use. Yep. And I wonder, I mean, these are pretty thin, and there's very little material on the outside of it. So I'm curious, because, like, I don't know, I've had to kind of give up on a couple of ideas for, like, sequencing the lights and all that jazz. And because, like, I'm like, how many control wires can I run up and down that conduit? And so you've given me something to think about, actually. If not that, then maybe even like why. So is that so to just totally go off thought, is that a 28 gauge wire on the left side there?
No, I believe these are both 30 gauge.
Interesting.
So,
wow. Is that a silicone wrapped 30 gauge?
Yes. You know what? You're right. It is a 28 gauge.
It is a 28 gauge. Okay.
But still, you can see the difference in width is quite a bit.
Yeah. No, that's very interesting. Like, that is something to really think about. Because I really, really don't want to put the Arduino inside of the model itself.
No, yeah, exactly. The other thing I'm thinking too, I may end up going with a slightly larger hole, which I would probably keep this edge of it and then come out more this way and into this area if possible. Which you don't really notice on the bottom, but in here you got more of a buildup of a solid piece for it to be at. So that's my thought.
Okay. Yeah, there's also that as well, like probably just going up to the next size of brass tube.
Yeah. And making sure you have a thin wall brass tube as opposed to a thicker walled brass tube.
Right.
Or aluminum tube.
Yeah, something to think about. Wow, it's kind of every time we do this, I'm like, oh crap. Ken's already thinking ahead right now.
Yeah, trying to problem solve. That's the thing though. When you get the time off, you start to think maybe a little bit too much.
Yeah, well, that's good though. I mean, I don't have the time off, so I'm definitely taking inspiration from you. So on that front, taking inspiration from you, what can I steal from you that you've done this week?
Well, actually, what I did last week was,
Right.
which is going to tie into what I need to do, is I put my light box in here, and I did put some words on the screen or some text on the screen saying that I had to remove the light box because you need to put the clear piece in first. So I know we talked about this earlier before we started recording, but I figure I'd mention it now for the people at home. I'm going to take some sponge, sanding sponge here. I think this one's from Tamiya. And because the clear part is just a hair bigger, and I mean that like literally not more than like a hair, it seems like, I should be able to just come in here and just gently start spinning this until it's going to fit.
Nice.
I don't want to come in there with something uh, aggressive because that's just going to take out way too much material too fast. And with all this
Mhm.
beautiful detail that's been put in here by Will, you're not going to recover if you take out too much. There's nothing
No,
you
even
can do to put that detail back in.
no, a panel etching tool wouldn't even work. Like it's so fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this week I'm burning in my light here for the bottom. So it's a 3mm LED that's going to be sticking through there. I did have to make the hole a little bit larger. So I took a round file that I have and I just basically drove it in there all the way, constantly sanding until I got it in all the way so that I could have this protrude, or actually it doesn't even really protrude, but to come out on the bottom,
Nice.
the flashing. So, and then I'm also just started, and I'll probably continue working on, is color coding and running the lights for all my running lights. So I've gone with them as being white and black and white positive, black negative. And then right now I'm also trying to tie in all my other negatives that I can to all my other negatives to make it like a common negative,
Yeah.
except for my COB lights. So that's mostly what I'm going to be working on this week is trying to tidy up this big spaghetti dinner into something a little bit more manageable.
Nice.
So
Nice.
yeah.
Well, from a recording perspective, I still have yet to release the episode, but in the episode that's coming out, I've done the first phase of getting all the second phase of lighting into the saucer. I got my RCS thruster flickering LEDs put in place. And then I have also gone through and what I'm waiting to do is get my all of my running lights basically put in on the bottom. So that's going to be kind of what's going to be happening in that episode. And then for this episode, finishing up the running lights on the top, getting light blocked for the top of the saucer, getting the light boxes installed, and basically finishing up majority of the lighting, with the exception of the planetary sensor and then the bridge and A and B deck, which will be the final, basically a little bit of lighting besides the two little lights on top of the running bars. And so, yeah, I've learned. I was scared as soon as I saw the 0402 SMD chips in their raw form without anything on them. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to solder on that? Like, you've got to be kidding me. So I put on the biggest, like, highest power magnification that I can. And as crazy as it is to say, I was able to successfully solder my wires onto 0402 SMDs and do so in such a way that was actually I was able to quickly do it at the end. Like I grew in confidence. Like I did not do opposite colors, so I didn't do a positive and a negative color because I wasn't sure how to differentiate which is the positive and the negative side, but there's definitely a positive and a negative side, right?
Right.
And so what I did was just solder them up and then test them out, and then as soon as I found the positive side, then I went ahead and just put in the resistor at the end of it. I was like, it took like 2 hours to do all these, but like if I had excuse me, if I had had my skills that I had built by the end of that earlier on, like it probably would have only taken me about 30-35 minutes in order to do all the work. Because I got pretty quick. So I'm fairly confident now actually in how to do 0402 SMDs. And this little pack that Todd had encouraged us to buy, um, this thing is amazing. So there's something like what? There's 50 each of each size. So 0402s,
Wow.
0603s, 0805s, and 1206s. And there's 50 each of red, yellow, blue, green, white, and orange of all those different sizes. And so those chips are that size. Little white things in there. I was able to solder a negative and a positive lead onto it successfully, and it scared the crap out of me, but I did it.
That's some amazing work. I look at the pre-wired ones I have here, and I can only imagine the level of steady-handedness you would need to do that. It's
So I can tell
incredible.
you this. So the OmniFixo was not the solution here, as crazy as it is to say that.
Really?
What I found was I used the corner of my little vise here. You can
Yeah.
see some of the flux kind of burnt into the corner of there.
Oh, yes.
I stuck the chip in and then
Mhm.
very carefully cinched it down, and then dropped my flux on it, and then just quickly dropped a bead of solder, and then put the wire on it, flipped it around, did the same thing, and then tested it, found the positive, and went from there.
That's
So
that's incredible.
super easy. Like it's just this little vise, and once again, the beauty of this vise, and the Todd father sent this to me, and this is on Hobbyist Haven, I believe is what it is.
Yeah.
This is a fantastic tool. It's got a photo etch bender here on the bottom with the cinch down and up. It's a vise, not fractal. It'd be nice if it was a fractal vise, but it does have the little fingers up top. But then the cool part is if you loosen it up, it's on a gimbal.
That's a cool tool. Definitely.
So what I was doing was I had it held like this, and then went in and then turned it around and had it looking at me, and so then I would solder, and it just worked beautifully. So um
Were
if
you
when in go
were
ahead.
you doing optical, like as in something over your own eyes, or were you zoomed in with your camera?
So I used my magnifiers
Oh, okay, yeah.
with an LED. Oh, so yeah.
Nice.
Um and this is the highest magnification one. I think it's the 5x if I'm not mistaken, is what I used. So yeah, it was I needed every little bit of help I could get to see it. And there's just the tiniest little pad on either side of the thing. And so like it's just you just kind of got to trust it and don't do it for too long. Like I popped one by getting it too hot. I heard it snap. It was just it was a learning process, but
Yeah.
this is a game changer for me. I much prefer SMDs for lighting. Um, they're less obtrusive. The 3 millimeters can be a little bit difficult, and I've got an idea for a scratch build that I want to take to Wonderfest next year. Something small, compact that I can like assemble in place, and SMDs are going to be required for that. So this was a great learning experience, not just for this model, but for kind of just being a modeler in general. I Even if you're scared to try it, I recommend to anybody who's interested, if you want to get your soldering skills up, try something difficult like this. I feel like I'm a better solderer now than I was before I started this process. And I do have to say, I mentioned this on the HTM stream on Sunday, but get yourself a good solder, number one, and find your ratio. So I like the 6337. I don't get any cold solders with these. I don't get any cold connections. So everything is like, it just, this stuff works really, really well. This is only like $7 on Amazon, what have you, but get yourself a good solder. I didn't realize I was using cheap crap until I started using this, and it makes all the difference in the world. So yeah, that's my
Right on.
little thing. So yeah.
For lights up here, you're going to be doing the lights up here as well in the
Yep.
corner.
Yep.
Do you know what color you're going with?
So I'm gonna match up. So the one difference that I'm going to be going, and like I've been like studying the intro that Todd has sent us. I don't know how many times I've watched that clip in slow-mo and what have you. I think it's a lot because of the shooting model, but I am going to be going with this color. So for all of my flashers and all of my running lights, except for the spotlights, anything that's a spotlight, so the spotlights that are on the bottom of the nacelles, I'm going to keep those warm. But all of my running lights, I'm going to be doing cool white. So that's kind of
going cool white up there. Okay.
yeah.
My other suggestion was get a hold of Will and see what color he was going with.
Yeah. No, I know. I'd thought about that as well, and I've kind of gone back and forth a little bit. But just kind of knowing, because like the thing I also notice is that like all of the there's the lights on the saucer, all the formation and the nav lights, they all blink at the same time, and then the flashers on the top of the bridge and on the top of the roll bar, they both flash at a different interval, and those are bright white,
Right.
and I'm kind of looking to keep all of that the same. That's at least for me, at least in my head. Like the way I see Starfleet ships, like those lights should be bright white, not warm white. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm going with it. And I had to really think about it for a second because I didn't have any warm white SMDs. I only have warm white 0602s, and those would have been fine. So
Yeah,
I
I have some warm whites that I might try.
yeah. So yeah, kind of what my thought is like I want to try to stick as close to like movie, like I want this to be as realistic as possible from what we saw in the movie, but I also want to make it, I don't know, at least in my mind, the way I want to go with it. I'm not going to be satisfied if I know that these running lights should actually be bright white and I made them the other color.
Yeah.
So, and that's just the modern Star Trek fan in me. So I know that all Starfleet ships do it that way, and so that's where my nerd brain is going a little bit. So I don't know. We'll see. I still have time. Now you got me thinking about it, Ken. Damn it.
But I think that means then you need to delete a couple windows. In Will's video, he mentions there's, I think it was
Two
down
windows
here.
down below. The two
Yeah.
windows that are down below on the lowest level down there.
Yeah.
Right underneath that angled part. Yep.
So.
Yep. No, I know.
Yeah.
So I got to go back and do my, like, bless Will for doing all the research. He does the Todd work. Like he's doing to this model what Todd does to his part works, right? And so yeah, I'm kind of like, okay. I trust what Will have to say, and so I need to go back and actually watch some of these videos again to check on that. But yeah, now you got me thinking. We'll see how I go. They're already done, so we'll see.
Well, this has been a lengthy intro, and
It
thanks, ladies
has
and gentlemen, for watching.
indeed. Well, look forward to seeing what you get done this week, and I can't wait to copy it.
Thank you, and I look forward to seeing your progress as well.
All right, my friend. Well, Good luck, and see you at the bench.
See you at the bench.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Line of the Stars. I'm Jordan, and we're back today, finally, with another episode of the Reliant build. Lots of work, lots of work. This model is a doozy, one that I wasn't quite expecting. As I've said as I've gone along, this model is a challenge to get done, but it has been well worth it as starting to get towards the finishing touches of all the electronics. Now, I have gone through and created all of my LEDs. Everything's ready to go. There's no more LEDs that need to be created, which is fantastic. We just need to get everything put in and then figure out how we're going to get everything routed through. So today we're going to go ahead and start part 2 of taking care of our saucer lighting. And we're going to start with going ahead and getting our COB put in place right over here in the middle. Then, after that, we're going to go ahead and get into our RCS thrusters. We're going to get them installed, and then we're going to go ahead and get our 0402 SMD LEDs put in for all of our running lights, and then we'll talk about what we're going to be doing next, as there is just so much that needs to be done, and we're going to go ahead and flip over to the other side and start working on the top half of the saucer on the inside there. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into installing some lighting and doing something that has been a long time coming. All right, so what I have done is I have basically gone through it. Now, if you guys haven't seen one of my series before, whenever I'm messing with COB LEDs, one of the things that is really difficult is to get them to stick to anything besides themselves or other pieces of plastic. And so what I like to do is I like to take some sprue and I cut them down basically into pieces that are about that big, and then I sanded them at an angle, and then I went ahead and just put them in posts around the outside. And what I like to do for that is we are then going to put our COB just along the inside here, and it's keeping all the lights focused in the middle. And what this COB is going to do is it's going to light up all of the lights, all of the windows here in the lower section. Then it's also going to provide most of the lighting for the bridge and A and B decks as well. This is going to be really bright. I'm probably going to run this at about 4 volts or so, somewhere in there. I do have this not resisted right now. I need to figure that out as I kind of need to figure out some color temperature things, but very simple installation and one we can get into real quick. So all I did was super glue those into place. And what we're going to do is basically when I created this COB is I left a piece of the tape sticking off the back here. Now, I realize in hindsight that that probably isn't going to work, so that's why putting these posts in really, really helps. So let's just go ahead and pull it off. I was like, oh yeah, no, I'm really clever. I'm going to leave that that tape on there so that it'll come off and it'll be good. And wow, it didn't. Goodness me. All right, so get our tape off the back. All right, now this tape is very sticky, and you can absolutely tear your wires out. And so what I'm going to do is there is that little bit of tape sticking off to the side there. I'm going to route my wires around the back through here, and then using that tape, oh no, there we go. I am going to link. Oh, it's from the back side. So I am going to link these up with that piece of tape sitting in between. And it's not going to be doing much other than just kind of holding everything in place. And then with our wires coming out the back, go ahead, have them split the posts. There we go. And simply lock these in place. Now, if you want to do a little bit of extra gluing, and I think I may have gotten my size a little wrong here. That's interesting. Yep. So what I'll do for this one is I'm going to use a little bit of my UV resin, hold it up against the post here, and then simply bond it in place. I'll be right back. All right, so that's all taken care of. Let's go ahead and test our LEDs to make sure everything is all good. We're going to be doing that a lot today. So this one is done. It's going to be plugged into a MOSFET, so I have this oppositely powered right now, or oppositely wired. But there we go. Oof. She is a bright one, Nas, that's for sure. All right. Our COB is installed. Let's go ahead and do my little wire twist technique here. And what I like to do as a reminder, we're going to be doing this for the rest of the episode today. I like to go ahead and match up my wires here at the very end. Get my pin vise. And then here, right before the very end, before it closes up, roll your wire up. And kind of get it. You might have to open it up a little bit. But just kind of pinch it in there. Tighten it down. Hold at the base where you want it to go. Or where you don't want it to like pull. And then pinch there and start twisting. Then just kind of let it sit for a second. And then release. There we go. Excellent news. All right, our COB is installed. Let's go ahead and get our RCS thrusters put in place. All right, so our RCS thrusters, I'm realizing that my wires are a little short. I'm going to go ahead and, what I'll do in between, I'm just going to go ahead and test these real fast. And these are flickering yellow LEDs, basically candlelight LEDs. And what we're going to be doing is I'm going to basically patch these in, tie them together with a common negative, and then we will basically move on and patch them in with the rest of the lighting. All of this, the non-blinking lights are going to tie into one power line. I've been thinking a lot about the power for this build, so we just need to figure that out. And it's likely going to be patching in right down here where I put in that power port in the last time. All right, so our light boxes are put in place. And there they are. And as you can see, they're flickering, which is really, really cool. I got a 1/4 watt resistor in this one, or in these ones, so to say. So, very simply, all we need to do is we're going to take this light box, just like so, and this one is going to sit in place right in between these two right here. So I need to kind of get my LEDs for the light box there bent out of the way a little bit. These are going to sit right over the top, just like that. Okay. So now, all I'm going to do, get some glue down here along the bottom. And be generous with the glue. You don't need to, this isn't the outside of the model. You don't need to worry about that. Get them lined up. And held into place. I'm going to let that cure up for just a moment, and I'll be right back. All right. That one's installed. Nice and easy. Let's go ahead and get the second one taken care of. So, you'll notice on these light boxes, there's one side that is angled, and then there's one flat side. The angled side is what's going to go down towards the hole here, just like so. Okay? So I wanted to make sure that that was pointed out. Will did, when he was designing these, definitely taken that into account, which is great. And if you need to, use a little bit of kicker to go ahead and lock it in place. So, very simply, around the outside of that. And what I'm going to do for this one, just take a little kicker, I put it in my syringe here. And just drop a little drop on either side. And that secures it in place. All right, so now what I will do in between, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and get these tied in together and then run the power along the side down to over here, where eventually we'll tie everything together. But let's go ahead and take a look at one of these real fast to see the general look. What we're going to see for the most part. It's not going to be all completely lit up. We're going to be painting this off, and then from there, what we do is we're just going to be putting a couple of masks down to expose that, or expose the light through there. So, otherwise, however, there is our RCS thruster installed. Very, very cool. All right, let's go ahead and move on to getting our center blinking light installed before we get all of our SMDs put in place. All right, so what we have for they call it the impulse crystal or something like that, but basically this little center dome area is a blinking light. It blinks in unison with the rest of the ones that blink. There's also flashers at the top of the hull, but there's just a blinking one down here, and it is just an amber light. So what I have here is a 2x3x4 LED that's just yellow. It actually lights up nice and golden colored. So let's go ahead and give that a quick test to make sure we're still working. So I can guys show you the guys the color. All right, so those are plugged in. Let's go ahead and activate it. Well, there we go. It's a nice golden color. And the installation of this is going to be very, very simple. The idea for it is going to be, we're basically just going to take this and put this directly over the top right here. And then, watch this. We're going to go ahead and take our UV resin, put a nice big blob all around it, and then very quickly cure that in place. I was like, what am I going to do? There's like a light box that you could put in place, but this back end is already really, really, really busy. And I was just like, ooh, what do we do here? So yeah, that was a very quick and simple and easy solution for that. And once again, my love of UV resin. This stuff is fantastic. Once again, it's not actually gluing anything to it, but just by principle, it holds things in place. So yeah. Now, to talk while this is finishing curing up, these are going to need to be tied into all of the SMDs that we're about to install here in the coming up section of this episode. That is going to be taken care of off screen, as it is just a lot of tedious work of soldering connections and what have you. And I want to be able to take my time doing that. And I tend to rush a little bit when I am soldering during a recording. So yeah, kind of just one of those things where we'll tie all those in together. But there that is, very easily put in place. Let's go ahead and take a quick little peek-see here, see how this turned out. We'll flip the model over and see how that light turned. I am super excited about this one because I was like, what am I going to do? All right, let's go ahead and power up the power source. That is installed. And there it is. Nice, simple little glowing amber light. I think this is going to need a little bit of refraction sitting over the top of it. So let's grab a piece of our aluminum tape. Let's cut a little strip out. And grab a piece, that big. Sure. And what we're going to do, take the aluminum tape and use it to help reflect some of the light back in, and then light block the inside as well. Let's see how that turned out. Much better. Yep, I am very, very happy with how that turned out. Excellent news. All right, one more LED installed. Let's go ahead and get into installing all of our running lights, and then we'll talk about what's coming up in the next episode. All right, so I have my 0402 SMDs ready to go. These are really, really fragile. When I was taking these out, a couple of them wound up breaking, and so yeah, that's a thing. Um, so we're gonna go ahead and just test one of these out, and we'll test each one as we go along. So the yellows I have done as the white lights that go along one. The whites go 1, 2, and 3 here, and then we have the red and greens along the back. The green I did in green wire, and the red I did in black wire for some weird reason. So there we are. Now, this move might be a little controversial for some of you out there. I know that the LEDs and the lights that we see, or not the LEDs, but the lights that we see in the Reliant the model itself, the filming model, the blinkers are not this color. They're kind of like a yellow haze color. I honestly don't like that. It's not really accurate for what we know about Star Trek and Starfleet ships. So I'm going to go ahead and take some creative liberties with that one. So I have chose to do cool white as my option for that. So for installation, what I'm going to be doing is very simply, we have run, you can see that each one of the spots along the side, we have the running lights and everything like that. There are holes drilled for each one of them. I think I need to clean this one up here. But what we're going to do is very simply get the LED put in place directly over the hole, just like that, making sure that our light is sufficient enough to get through, which it is. Excellent. So when it is sitting directly over the hole, just like that, what we're going to do is take some of our UV resin, cover that up, and lock it in place. Go ahead and let that cure for just a moment, and I'll be right back. All right, so there it is, blinking through. Blinking. Sorry. All right, now let's go ahead and grab our next SMD. And once they have been locked in place with the UV resin, I'm a little less worried about them because it's covering up the connection. The solder point, if you would believe on the 0402s, is really small. And I found out that they are a little weak. And that's totally fine. I do have these resistor down with a 1/4 watt resistor. If we need to take it down any further, we'll go ahead and do that on the Arduino. All right. Let's go ahead and get our next one installed. We'll do this next one together, and then I will take care of the final one by myself. And then we'll move on to the red and green. All right. So I'm going to check to make sure that we're getting light through there. No. So I do have my drill bit ready for this one. 1 millimeter right here. So I'm just going to go ahead and some of the primer got down in there. Just drill through, clean that up. Better. All right. So now try not to pull on any of these wires. They sure do like to stick together, don't they? All right. Make sure that the light is going through well. It is. Wow, even with the light blocking, it is still super bright through there. So something to take note of. We're definitely going to have to light block the outside as well, which is good to know. Once again, a little bit of UV resin and lock it in place. All right, so I went ahead and took care of the third one. So all of those are taken care of. Now, let's go ahead and move on to the rear ones. Excellent. All right, so now let's go ahead and grab our port side, or excuse me, our starboard side LED. Got it all lit up. There we go. So now we're going to be putting this over in this corner right here. So starboard is always going to be green. So let's go ahead and make sure our hole is lit up. We're good to go. We're not lit up, but cleared out. Make sure the SMD is facing down. UV resin over the top. And lock it in. I'm making sure that the wire is kind of coming at an angle so it'll be pointing in this way. And there we go. Let's go ahead and take a look to see how that turned out. Oh, very cool. Camera is definitely blowing it out, but there it is. Excellent. All right, one more LED for today. And then I'm going to go ahead and try to tie everything together and see if I can light it all up. So let's go ahead and grab our red LED. There we go. Once again, I don't know why I did this in black wire, but it's what I did. And there's our red LED. And just like the other side, make sure our hole is clear. It is. Let's go ahead and make sure our wire is pointing in towards the middle. Our red LED is put into the hole. UV resin over the top. And lock it in. All right, our red port side LED is put in place. And there we go. All right, let me go ahead and attempt to tie all of this together real quick, power everything up, turn off the lights, and then we'll talk about what we are going to be doing next time while we take a look at what I did this time. All right, here we are. That was a lot of tying in together, so let's go ahead and take a look to see what we got from the outside. So, obviously, we need to do some sanding work still. There's still a lot of stuff that needs to be done, but overall, it turned out really, really good. So there are the RCS thrusters. We have each one of these. These are all going to blink in unison along with this one. And the two formation lights, the red and greens, stay solid on the back. We will be matching that pattern up top. And yeah, so I mean, overall, I got to say that this was a lot of work to get done. But you can also see that the lower windows are also getting lit up as well, which is really, really cool. So yeah, we're getting close. We have like probably another episode or so of getting some of our lighting done for the saucer, and then we can start working on getting prep for final assembly before paint. So there it is, a lot of prep work done, a lot of LED work, and sorry about the camera getting blown out, but there is the spaghetti. It has officially begun. I need to do a lot of tying in and getting all of this linked in together. I need to get all my flashing ones put together. I need to get all of the solid ones all linked in and put into one power port so that we know what's going on. But I can tell you right now, we are already pulling a half amp just from this lower portion of the saucer. We still have the rear, we still have the top, and we still have the nacelles along with the roll bar as well to install. So this is going to be a bit of a pig when it comes to power, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how it turns out, just as I hope you are as well. So that's what I got for you today, and I just want to say thank you. I know that there was a million things y'all could have done today. Instead, you spent a couple minutes with me, watching me build a model, and I think that's pretty damn cool. If you guys have any questions or comments, tips, tricks, please leave them down below. Like to support the channel, please like and subscribe. And my friends, until we see each other again, I hope you all have a wonderful day in this beautiful world where we happen to be. And just remember, from hell's heart, I stab at thee.